Well, on the line now is the story that we promised we'd get to a little later, because Sanral has missed its bond auction target by 200 million rand. To find out more about what happened there, the Chief Financial Officer is going to be with us in a moment. We'll be back straight after this. Oh, okay. Well, I've been told she is indeed on the line. Inge Mulder, who's been in our studio in the past. Inge, nice to have you on the program once again. It isn't with good news, though. Last time we were talking on Etolls, you pretty much convinced me that I should be paying my Etolls. I wonder if you can convince me that the fact that you haven't been able to raise the 600 million that you were anticipating is actually not that bad news, because it looks like it from where I'm sitting.
Yes, it's certainly not nice. I think from our side, we've got a program for the year that we need to raise 600 million every month in order to have the sufficient cash flow to maintain our roads as well as to service the debt. This auction of yesterday just means that it puts additional pressure on the other 9 auctions that we have remaining for the rest of the year. But it does also give you an indication of what investors are giving you feedback to say, listen, we need the certainty in order to fund you. So they're telling us, they're giving us a very direct message.
Well, the message is very clear. The message from South African citizens is very clear. They're not keen on paying the e-tolls. Are you making any progress in finding a solution, presumably with government?
As I explained previously, we are part of a task team that is headed by the Deputy President, who will determine if there's any changes required. But I think it's been made pretty clear by all the parties involved that the user pay principle is still the mandate of government, and that means that tolling needs to stay. Whether there's any additional things that we need to address, be it public transport or the pricing, that needs to happen, and that's the things that we need clarity on. I think, and that is what helps or does not help the users of the road to know what's coming their way. So they are uncertain, and that's why they're not sure whether they should pay us or not.
And the politicians have also been sending us very mixed messages on this. From one party, it says, don't pay the tolls, we'll defend you in court. From another party, it says, well, we are putting it on hold for the moment. This must make life pretty difficult from where you're sitting.
It certainly is, and I think the rundown effects of it can be seen even on the roads. Yesterday I had to travel, obviously, for the auction to Sandton from Pretoria, and suddenly it takes me 40 minutes longer to travel. We've seen a huge increase in congestion on our roads, and I think that's mainly due to the fact that people don't believe they should be paying, and therefore are using the roads while they think that it's for free. And that has other impacts for Sanral in terms of the road itself, the maintenance, but also for other things like Gautrain. If there's no incentive to use the train, then people will always, make the easier choice for them. And I think people forget that, tolling is not just a means of paying for a road, it's actually more a means of managing demand or managing congestion.
Unintended consequences. Another potential unintended consequence, I guess, is that you've got 42 billion rand in debt at Sanral. At some point in time, those who are lending you the money might be saying, can we have it all back, please?
Correct. And it's we've got obviously a different bonds with different maturities. But yesterday's auction clearly indicates from investors to say that, one, if we're unsure about your future, we may not invest, and two, because of that risk, we are pricing you or giving you margins that are much wider than what it was.
So give us some good news, please, if you would, Inge, just or maybe some finality. You are part of a task team that's been going on for quite some time. Certainly from where the public is sitting, there doesn't appear to be any good news on the horizon in the immediate future, but perhaps you can help us there.
Well, I think there's a couple of things that I can help with. The one is that, both the Premier, our Minister, has indicated very clearly that the tolling or the user pay principle is here to stay. So it's very clear. Maybe there may be a reduction in a cap or something else that happens but the bottom line is you need to pay for your usage of these 200 kilometers of roads, especially if you want to think about further road development to the standard that we've given you on GFRP, which has been widely debated. Other side is also to think, there's 750,000 kilometers of roads in South Africa. And estimates show that the backlog in maintenance of those is 200 billion rand. So the 200 kilometers we're talking about here is I think, well priced. If you look at the incentive, the rate that you get charged if you're registered and have an e-tag, and that was the incentive that we've given. So if we look at the numbers after a year, and we've collected so much data in the year, it still indicates that more than 87% of people will pay less than 200 rand if they register. So I think that there's a bit of noise made about paying too much, but if you are registered with a tag and the tag is free, you are not paying exorbitant amounts of money.
That was Inge Mulder, who's the Chief Financial Officer of Sanral.